business today will eventually have to go through something known as a public relations crisis. Now, what is that, you may ask? Well, it is defined by any negative event or review of a company who gains tractions within the public sphere. Simply put it, if they did something wrong, or something had gone wrong, and the public isn't too happy about what happened. Now, these can be minor, something small, and could be brushed to the side and often overshadowed by bigger and more important things like the weather. And then you get some major cases like the Activision Blizzard scandal that we will be talking about today. But first, let's talk about all these characteristics. They are a New York City based agency that have managed to define 8 separate traits that when a PR crisis comes about, these are the 8 that tend to pop up. First, you got surprise, then insignificant information, escalating a flow of events, lost control, intense scrutiny from outsiders and or insiders, the beginning of the siege mentality, panic, and then the last one being issues solved by the public area. These 8 are always presented one way or another within every situation. However, we will only be talking about 3 of them today and how they connect. So, to start things off, back in 2021, late 2021, the California Department of Fair Employment of Housing decided to go after Activision Blizzard by filing a lawsuit for discrimination against women and creating a culture that is known as a frat boy culture. To see more of what I'm talking about, I am going to show you a quick video.
Culture. That is how Activision Blizzard is now being described here in this new lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. The state agency alleges that female employees there are subjected to sex discrimination, unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation, and unequal pay. According to the complaint, female employees make up around 20% of the company's workforce. They're subjected to what is described as pervasive frat boy culture. For example, so-called cube crawls in which male employees apparently drink a lot of alcohol as they crawl through their way through the cubicles, often engaging in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. The agency is saying it seeks, among other remedies, pay adjustments, back pay, lost wages, and benefits for those female employees in an amount to be proven at trial. The company hitting right back, though, very hard here, saying in a statement the DFEH includes distorted and, in many cases, false descriptions of Blizzard's past. The picture, they say, the DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. The state agency goes on to say this is all much bigger than just Activision Blizzard, though, that more generally sexism has plagued the gaming industry for decades and increasingly so, it argues, in recent years. Back to you all.
That's so interesting, Josh, here, and I have to wonder if they say that this has plagued the whole...
Thank you, CNBC, for the video. Now, let's quickly talk about what was just mentioned in the video. So, they mentioned frat boy culture, as you saw, that was the definition of what a frat boy culture was, and the fact Blizzard had allowed such behavior to flourish and some level encourage it. Then cube crawls, as twisted as it is, think of pub crawls gone wrong within a work setting place. They also mention other unacceptable behaviors that took place, and the fact that Activision shot back with a statement basically saying that it was a lie told. So, great response there. But all of that shows the very first trait: intense scrutiny from outsiders and insiders. The fact this got covered by the news, and we are already seeing how big of a deal this is. This is a big gaming company with a community from Call of Duty, from Overwatch, those big franchises. And on top of that, three gaming giants call them out. Giants being Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo of America. This is really bad. So, a couple more notes from the report. Inappropriate comments were made towards women, which included those kind of jokes, and sadly, some female employees would end up experiencing such thing. Again, cube crawls are a thing. Pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers suffered. They couldn't get time off, and breastfeeding mothers had to deal with male employees coming into the room, watching them, and sometimes kicking them out of the room so the room could be used as a meeting room. And then, as noted by Aaron Greenbaum from Den of Geek, work was passed off to female co-workers just so they can go and play games, which is very ironic if you think about it. And then noted by Kotaku, males also sadly suffer from sexual harassment despite the fact that women were the main targets. Which shows our next trait: loss of control. Blizzard could not get it under control whatsoever, and also gave rise to a second culture known as the rockstar mentality, a term often used to describe rock stars, like legitimate rock stars, which you can see a little bit in the movie of Rock of Ages. To expand on it a little bit, the rockstar mentality refers to the thinking of getting away with anything, especially if it involves women, drugs, and sex. Of course, it keeps getting worse. Reports claims of shredding of evidence. Blizzard claims it's all lies, which was an email sent to Ian Walker from Kotaku. And sadly, and this is one of the worst things that could have happened, Moynihan, a female employee, would end up taking her life due to the actions of her boss, Greg Vestito, who initially lied to the police when news of her suicide came out and hid evidence of having a sexual relationship with her, one that, from the looks of it, was not wanted. And so when the police asked for company laptops and phones, Gus Garcia Roberts and Shona Lee from the Washington Post found out that the Blizzard refused to hand over these items, claiming that Moynihan's stuff was wiped and would not allow Greg's stuff to be looked at whatsoever. And of course, they have a partnership as of recent with a union known for union busting. Now, what is that? It is basically the interference of activities of a union by the company, whether it be starting or during it, which is considered to be very, very illegal as of 1935, which is also protected by the National Labor Relations Act, which leads to our last trait, the beginning of the siege mentality. The fact they tried to hide the evidence one way or another does not do great things, and it of course backfired. The statements that were made about it were also disastrous, considering that at one point the CEO of Activision Blizzard came back saying, the previous statements were really tone deaf. To which a lot of people basically said, well, hey, are you sure about that? With a very sarcastic tone. Though finally, there is some good news. Thankfully, the gaming community has been able to come together by creating charities, and some big name streamers would, even during the duration of the charities, refuse to play any Blizzard games in support of those who are doing walkouts. Devs ended up removing references and names such as a character from Overwatch that was once known as Jesse McGree and changing the name altogether, as that was one of the people named during the lawsuit, the initial lawsuit. And of course, probably some better news. Microsoft will be buying Activision as the deal will be finalized by June 30th of 2023 as of next year. This is good as the current one will be removed once the deal is finalized. So what does that mean? A PR crisis can be a horrible event and can become one for anyone who doesn't know how to handle the situation properly. As of August of 2022, the state of California has managed to bring forth more allegations, and some of the employees are even facing criminal charges as this was allowed to flourish. At the end of the day, this is a really tough situation that is still going on, and I do hope that this situation will end safely and quickly as possible.